Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Pisces, our card tonight is the Sun. We have the Sun. All right, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what are these tea leaves going to tell us today. And so if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And so if you also would like to leave a comment, right? I know sometimes I'm on channels, videos, I think, I don't know, am I going to leave a comment or not? I want to because I feel quite moved by, whatever I'm watching. Just do it, right? Just be brave. I love reading the comments. They absolutely are something I look forward to. I've gotten to know so many people over the last couple of years doing this channel. And so definitely, leave a comment there, especially if you're new. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. Let's see what is happening here. Now, when we have that sun energy, that really is kind of a revelation, right? It is an awakening. It is clarity coming to some situation. If you could think of the sun being at the highest point in the sky, right? We call this high noon. There are no shadows cast. Okay, nothing is obscured. It is all illuminated. So this is coming to a deep understanding, seeing something in a different way for the first time. So as I'm looking at this, I see we have two people. Okay, we have one person here. You can see the head, you can see the body, and then over here holding hands with another person. Here's the head, here's the body. Okay, so if you could imagine, like hand in hand, talking, having some kind of, it feels like a close, maybe romantic dynamic, right? You wouldn't really be this close with your coworker, somebody that you have lunch with once in a while or whatever. No, this is somebody that I think it feels like being drawn into them. That is really the impression that I'm getting as I'm closing my eyes. And I like to close my eyes a little bit while I'm doing these readings because I feel like it's easier to get into these places of kind of flickering imagery, if you will. And as I'm looking here, I feel like it's one of these moments in your life where you're remembering, you will remember the eyes, the mouth, the way that they look in the light, the way that their hands feel, the way that they smell, right? The way that their hair kind of, lays down, or the way the room smells, right? Well, they're talking to you. And it's just kind of this almost super romantic, enchanted place that I feel you in. And I do feel that this is a situation that has probably been ongoing, right? This is probably somebody that, maybe you're already married to them. Maybe you've been with them for 40 years. It might be that you're courting. It might be that you're getting ready to decide to go to kind of a more established level in your relationship, maybe moving in, or becoming official. Maybe, there's an engagement or something like this. But I feel that for the first time in a long time in your life, there's an openness to this love. And now if you have been together for many years, I think that, this is a kind of growing back into each other. If you've ever been with somebody for a lot of years, or some years, right? There are periods of time where we grow apart. There are periods of time where life kind of gets so very busy and, maybe there are stressors, health issues, financial issues, all of the things. And you're just kind of, trying to get through it together. And there may be a lot of love, of course, but there is sometimes a lack of intimacy or feeling close in a way that is affectionate or sensual. The connection, is there, but it may be waning a bit. But then the seasons start to change, right? And you look at each other and you think, oh, I really picked a good one, didn't I? I look at you and I think, there's nothing else, right? There's me and you in this world that we have built together. And whatever it is, I think that, you begin to grow towards each other. You are intertwined once again. And I feel like it is just such a wholeness here. This is an excitement that maybe you even kind of forgot about a little bit, right? That you could be so moved by somebody, by the presence of somebody. They walk in the room and you're excited to see them. You want to hug them, you want to kiss them, you want to be near them. Even just sitting next to them with your legs touching, right? Pressed up against each other. This is what you live for, right? And I feel there is an elation, there is a joy, there is a desire to continue to cultivate this thing, right? And so, not too shabby place to be in. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Lenore, this is not my reading. I am not with somebody. I don't have any kind of intention on romance or love, or, maybe it is that you are kind of even going through a breakup, a separation. You're off love, right? I hear you. Now this might be kind of reintroducing yourself to yourself, the beginning of a love affair, with your own being. And I like to think of this in terms of the alchemists, this idea of the anima and the animus. So the thinking is that each of us has, right, this other part of self, or it is really actually many parts of self, but there is a masculine and a feminine quality in each person, along with a lot of other, among the spectrum, right? And there is this idea of the chemical marriage, right? This union of opposites coming together to create a whole. If you could think of the marriage of the sun and the moon, and when they come together, they create the star. And so it might be that this is kind of a spiritual union for you. Taking this belovedness that you have, this agape, and applying it to the way that you interact with yourself, the way that you talk to yourself, show up for yourself, the things that you spend your time with, right? If you could think of yourself and I, right? Or what is it? Me, myself, and I. If you could think of the time that you have in between things, or, you know, your afternoons, your evenings when you get off of work, as being spent like you were dating somebody, you're courting somebody, taking yourself to, you know, a nice little movie, a little matinee, maybe a little bit of, you know, espresso afterwards, going for a stroll in the park, and going to the places you enjoy, buying yourself a little bouquet of flowers, or, you know, whatever. I'm thinking of the most stereotypical things, right? That we do while we're courting somebody. But yes, really going through the motions of that until it really feels like, hey, I am kind of dating myself. I am kind of showing up for myself. And it is the most beautiful love affair that we can have. Who is always going to show up for you? Yeah, you, right? Who is always going to be there for you? You. If we can, at some point in our life, at least once, dedicate a period of time to pursuing ourselves. And I don't mean in some kind of overly involved or narcissistic way, but to be there. I mean, really be there, to listen to yourself, to treat yourself as you want to be treated. And it might sound silly, but when we can get into that mode of thinking that I don't need anybody to treat me a certain way that, you know, lends me a sense of self-worth, I can do that for myself. You're unstoppable. That is a power that you might think, oh, that's silly, Lenore, that seems ridiculous. I treat myself, I do self-care, you know, but it's something more than that. There is a romantic quality to it that it's unexplainable until you start partaking, right? Until you start really feeling that fulfillment. And it does. It will raise your confidence. It will raise your self-worth. You become unshakable in a lot of ways. And so it is, you know, and so it is. I see this and I think it is. It's a love, a belovedness, and a healing happening here. Right? And so we also have the flower here, we have the camel. We have a person riding on the back of a bull. You can see the head of the bull here. Right here, here's the eye, the nose, kind of the horns up here, the body, okay? We have the person up here sitting. We also have another rose. We have two roses, one here, one here. We also have the number 99, 99. So I'm looking at this and it immediately makes me think of the Prince of Discs, right? And so I just feel like, my goodness, it really feels like there's this, I don't know what happened. What happened, right? It's like you woke up recently, right? Or you will be waking up pretty soon here. And there's just this fire, this motivation to just kind of really dig in. I feel like it's like for some years, you've almost just been going through the motions of things. Everything's been pretty cool, right? Not terrible. You've had some, things, obstacles to get through, and you've done it. Not a lot to complain about necessarily, but nothing spectacular. And you've been consistent and showing up and doing your work and keeping the house and your relationships going and nurturing all of these things. But then it's like something happened. And you woke up and you thought, you know what? Like, I'm not just going to autopilot this thing. I have like this, it's almost like on a really hot day, right? And then a storm starts to come in. And on the front of the storm, usually there's, a lot of wind. It pushes through. And it's cool air. Markedly so compared to what it's been, right? And where I'm at, it's very humid. So you feel this cool air, and this is kind of scary because it can cause tornadoes. But, and you got to keep an eye, right? Keep an eye out, especially if the sky turns green. But there's this feeling of the air coming through, and it just drops the temperature so quickly. And it feels like the pressure that has built up, the discomfort that you didn't even know you were in, it is relieved suddenly. And you think, my goodness, have I felt like this the whole time? Has everything felt so, strapped and just rigid, and I'm moving and I am going and I am doing the thing, but I'm realizing I've had like blinders on, right? Been going just forward. Not looking to the left or to I did this backwards. The left or the right. Just been going forward. And that was good enough. And that's fine. And that's, perfectly fine. But this thing happens and you wake up in your own life and you think, I could do more. I could have more. I could give more. I could feel more. Those desires I had all those years ago, the dreams. For so long, maybe I've looked back and thought, oh, what a naive kid I was. I had all these hopes, aspirations, wants, desires, and they were not really very realistic. So I grew up, I gave them up. And then you wake up somewhere, in middle age or older, and you think, maybe those dreams weren't so silly. Maybe I should, the first thing I just thought, like, get on a plane, go to like Istanbul, go see the cathedrals and the mosques and, the cats. I know there's lots of cats in Istanbul. And And I gave up on that because, well, not maybe gave up. I put it to rest for a while, right? I had to live my life. And I have responsibilities and I have things that I've had to do. But now I'm here in this place and it is like acutely just right there in the front of my consciousness. I always mix up consciousness and conscience. I like try to put them together. Sorry. Yes, it's right there, right? I'm acutely aware. And now I got to do something about it. Yeah. And so I do. I see this kind of barreling wagon, chariot, whatever it is that they're on. And that fiery Taurus energy, right? The mover. And I see you going fearlessly towards whatever it is that you have wanted to do. Now, I don't think it's without awareness of consequence. Like you're going to change your life and maybe even do it abruptly. Yeah, there's going to be consequences to things changing, good, bad, in between. But I think you're ready for that. You're ready for the change. You're ready for the things that need to happen, right? Now, we have the number 20. But we have those roses, and that's the thing too, is that I feel like and the roses represent the mystery, okay? We have this one and we have this one. So I do feel like there is a very spiritual aspect to this. I feel like it's almost kind of like this feeling of I have to do this thing. I have to almost like go on a pilgrimage. And that's really what it is. I feel like it's a pilgrimage of love. Love, maybe outward, maybe inward, maybe both, right? But I do feel like a lot of this has to do with self-love, self-fulfillment, okay? And the mystery that is, you know, kind of within any love affair that we have. And especially with ourselves, of course. But I feel that there is kind of this movement of passion, a revealing of, what is it? I don't know, right? I feel like it's visions, imagery coming through, your desire. Immediately I'm thinking like, as I'm trying to figure out like what is it that's trying to be shown, but I almost feel like it's kind of this, like you're moving into this other part of your life, and it's kind of this patron intelligence or archetype kind of beginning to show itself to you. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are having or have had or will have dreams about maybe some kind of deity, maybe a mythological character, an animal spirit, some kind of guiding force revealing itself to you. Okay. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of very vivid dreams, but I was having these dreams about Ocean or Oxum, an Orisha, right? She is the patrons of the waterways, the sweet waters, the rivers, okay? And I didn't know. I did not know who she was or why I was dreaming about her. and I won't go too in detail because a lot of it's personal and actually has more to do with my daughter than myself. But she would show me the waterway. She would show me this process of growing, right? My child, my beloved, this beautiful consciousness that chose me, to be intertwined with my beautiful, beautiful daughter. I could cry thinking about it. These dreams were just, so moving. And I wasn't sure. And finally she did. She told me her name. And I thought, I had been reading Osho, I still do, but on and off. And I think that was around the time that documentary came out on Netflix or whatever. And I thought in my dream, I said, oh, no, the name is like Osho, right? And she said, no, Ocean. And I was like, okay. So anyways, I woke up and I looked it up and I thought, my goodness. And all the imagery, the yellows and the golds and, it was amazing to me to have this interaction, right? And I felt the presence of this intelligence all throughout my pregnancy into the birthing process. Also, while I always have Green Tara out because she was the patron of my birth and the process thereafter. And so I do, and I'm superstitious, and I am, a practitioner. So this is of a composite belief system and practice of my own kind of creation, right? But I feel like there are periods of our life that are marked by our interactions with these archetypes. And I feel you going into a new period of your life where you are so impassioned and there being this revealing, a patron of some sort, an era, if you will, the age of, whatever that form is, they will be connecting with you. So keep your eyes open, right? Keep your eyes open. Now we have the bird. Look at this. This looks like a very noble bird here. And it reminds me of the raven, which, in some cultures is kind of synonymous with an end, death, right? Even my namesake, it comes from Poe. You would think, right, the raven, Lenor. But actually it came from, there is another poem he wrote called Lenor. And in the raven does represent death, right, an end. But in other cultures and other contexts, the raven is a creator, right? The raven is a trickster as well, which I think, these birds, the ravens, the crows, the magpies, they are kind of tricksters, aren't they? Even the blue jays. And so I look at this and I feel like there is an energy of, yes, rebirth, ending of old things, a rebirth into this new era of your life. But there is also kind of a silliness to it all. I feel like it's kind of like you have shed the stress of what was before, the heaviness. There are moments of feeling stuck and there's an oppressiveness, but all of this kind of falling away and meeting this new dawn with joy, with excitement, with wonder, with an anticipation for something, right? Doesn't matter what it is, but it's something. And I do. And I see also we have like the sticks, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's really kind of like you have the support of the universe, right? The universe is going to provide for you the ability to kind of recreate, restructure your life. And the tools are there. The materials are there. Now it's just up to you to decide where you're going to go with it. And I think that's what this is all about. What this period of time really has in store for you. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do our self-care affirmation cards. And I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, oh, inner warrior, I am powerful. My spirit is strong and resilient. I overcome any challenge that I may face. My inner warrior is brave. My inner warrior is brave. All right. Pisces, I want to tell you, I love you. I absolutely do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. As I said at the beginning, I love getting to know you. I love reading the comments. And for all of you that are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. All right. With that, I will say again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk in just a few days.